Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about fake news. Do you know what fake news is? If you don't, then I'm going to tell you. First time I began to realize that mainstream media was fake was, well, first of all, let me go back a little bit. You know, a lot of people put their trust in the mainstream media. We look to them to tell us the truth, and I think a lot of people have believed, a lot don't now, but they did believe at one point that the mainstream media weren't corrupt. They had our best interest in mind. You know, they can never be bought off. And I think a lot of them don't understand, too, who controls a lot of the mainstream media outlets, which I found out through just researching and looking into it myself. But that's not really something that's explained to people. People have to, in order to understand that, you have to either be in the industry in some aspect and understand how it works, or just know that, you know, average, like they get their, not just news networks, but also sitcoms and TV shows and stuff. They get their money from big corporations or sponsors, you know, and because of that, you know, they're beholden to certain things that they can and can't talk about. They don't have the freedom to go out and actually do real journalism, you know. And thank God for the internet, because a lot of the mainstream, a lot of the alternative media, you know, they don't have sponsors. They usually fund their operations through donations or out of their own pocket from their business, or making direct sales like Alex Jones does. You know, a lot of people knock him for it because he's doing commercials, but he actually, you know, he's a very smart guy. He has an insanely awesome like business model, and he's selling directly to the audience. But he does that so he can talk whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. He doesn't have to worry about, if he wants to talk about GMOs, you know, he doesn't have to worry about, I don't know, like a sponsor like McDonald's trying to pull his money because McDonald's uses GMOs in all their food. If he's selling his own products, or anybody, so not just to go on rag on Alex Jones or use him as an example, but a lot of these other like alternative media outlets, they or on the internet, they finance their operations through direct sales or through some other form of means that allows them to be free with the information that they give to people. Now, a lot of people might think it's bizarre, some things, because a lot of the stuff might seem far-fetched if you aren't, you know, if you're just used to getting sound bites and not really used to doing your own research with a lot of these things. But so let me go back and tell you, and I'll take it forward, and I'll tell you why how I began to really realize who the true purveyors of fake news are. So a few years ago, my best friend, son was normal, and he had a vaccine, and next time I go over her house, he's not talking, he's flapping and running around in circles. And then I find out the same thing happened to my cousin. So that prompted me to do some research into, you know, could this be possible? Because I was always told by the news and TV shows and doctors and everybody that vaccines are safe and effective. So I go and I do research. I start looking into, the first thing I start doing was I start looking into inserts. I started looking at the ingredients that are carcinogenic, that mainstream science and science, you know, people outside of the country have found the adjuvants to cause a multitude of autoimmune disorders. You know, aborted fetal tissue, which I didn't believe this shit, but it's fucking in there. They put it under a different code, but anyway, I'm digressing again. But, you know, I found out all this stuff because before that I was like, oh, it's just saline solution and like a dead virus, and that's it, you know. And then, you know, so then I go and I look at the news, and the news is saying that anybody that even questions the safety and efficacy of vaccine is a complete nut job, and they just want somebody to blame. And then, you know, through the years, I've met other people who have been damaged by vaccines, and you know, it's very heart-wrenching, because all these people want is to help other people, basically, and to, you know, get help for themselves. They're trying to warn other people so it doesn't happen to them, and they want to get help for themselves. That's it. And I don't see why this can't even be debated. And I've heard doctors that are, questioning the safety and efficacy of vaccines call for public debates. Have made even, pleas to news stations to have a public debate so we can actually talk about this, and the news won't even touch it. They just say, oh, they're crazy. There's no point in arguing with them because they're already crazy. Well, if they're crazy, then you can make them look stupid on national TV. Why aren't you taking this seriously? Why can't you have a debate? So then after that, I realized that pharmaceutical industries, fund a lot of the television shows and news programs. I was like, oh, well, that's why they won't talk about it, But it sucks because there are a lot of people who are dying, whose lives are ruined because people aren't being honest about it. And I even had, and it's not just autism, it's Gardasil, it's people in the military getting injured, it's SIDS kids, SIDS babies, a lot of other stuff. That I've even had, I used to work for Lyft, I even had a guy, not even knowing my stance on vaccines, but open up to me and told me that his platoon was completely destroyed. His health was completely destroyed after he was vaccinated. He said him and everybody in his platoon were they've never been the same. So, that's when I began to realize, fake news. But now, what they're doing is crazy. They're trying to censor anybody that's not them, and they're totally, attacking our First Amendment right to free speech. And I look at them, and then I look at Brian Williams, who lied about being shot down in a helicopter, and and then he comes on and has to apologize. He's like, oh, I misremembered, I made a mistake, and apologist saying, oh, he just made a mistake. No, you fucking lied to millions and millions of people. And then you went on David Letterman, and you went on other shows, and you fucking lied some more. You told the same story over and over again, and you just misremembered. And you're still working? You're still fucking working at MSNBC. You're still working on TV. Whether it's the same place you work at, but you're still on TV, and then you're coming on and you're lecturing people about fake news? Are you fucking kidding me? Am I being punked? Where's Ashton? Where is he? Is he under the couch? I don't know. Because this is it's so ridiculous to me. And then you have somebody like Katie Couric, who has a pro and anti-gun debate, and then tries to make the people that are anti-gun control look stupid. But luckily, somebody took a tape recorder in there and taped it, and was able to prove that she did that. She totally got fucking caught, fucking lying, like fake news. And then you have somebody like Hillary Clinton, who lied about, we had to hurry up and duck and get inside because there were so many bullets flying over our heads. And then she fucking gets caught in a lie. She just straight up lied. It wasn't she forgot a couple of details. Brian Williams forgot a fucking couple of They just fucking lie. They're pathological liars. They don't give a fuck. They were so demented that in this day and age where we have YouTube and camera equipment, and that neither of them would have gotten caught. Wow. Wow. It's insane. And then you have, I don't know, as I've studied history now, I know about the Gulf of Tonkin, and I see that was used to get us. That incident which was fake news, which was a lie, which was used to get thousands of people into the war in Vietnam, and then millions of people being killed on both sides combined, in Vietnam and in America. People's lives are destroyed. We have homeless vets who are fucking out of their mind because of the horrible shit that they saw in war. And then the same shit happened with Iraq and the weapons of mass destruction that the CIA, and I'm gonna get to those motherfuckers in a minute, but the CIA said, and they put it on different news stations, and which led to a war, led to millions of more people getting killed, and that's fake news. Oh my God, for real, that's fake news. So then I mean, so then the CIA, comes out and says in a really well edited video and articles and other saying that Russia like may have caused Donald Trump to win, when what the real reason is that he won is they can't conceive of any other idea of why people would vote for Donald Trump, other than the fact that they're racist or sexist, or just they want violence, which I mean, and it's so funny because I'm gonna be fucking honest. I didn't vote this election. I didn't see anybody who I liked, and I'm tired of fucking politicians, and they're lying, and I feel like I'm gonna make significant change by the things I'm personally doing to affect, I'm going to affect change that way. I'm not relying on one person to make a difference. But I mean, that's another, I digress again. But I think that I think that, they can't conceive that anybody, like they're basically, I think they don't understand why their tricks aren't working anymore. I'll put it like that. They don't understand why their tricks aren't working anymore. And their tricks aren't working anymore because people are starting to wake up. And people, I mean, it's ridiculous. They didn't even, all these mainstream news outlets had a clear bias to, for Hillary. And then, they didn't even ask people. I asked people because I was a bit confused too. I would ask people why they would vote for Donald Trump, and it was on their, a lot of it was on their policy, And yes, I think that he does have KKK supporters, but I think that KKK members are nationalists, but they're white. They're white supremacists and they're nationalists. You can be a nationalist and not be a white supremacist. So I can be a nationalist because I'm for the prosperity of my country, but I'm a black woman. KKK, but I can't be a white supremacist because I'm not white. I don't want to be a white supremacist, but I want to be. I can say, oh, I'm a nationalist. I want just prosperity for my country. So because they have nationalist views and they're white supremacists, or they just happen to be white supremacists, but I think that they support Donald Trump, or if they come out and said that they support Donald Trump because of his nationalist views, which I think the nationalist views for this country, that we need that right now. We need more jobs, because when there are more jobs, then there's more prosperity. And when there's more prosperity, there's less crime. When there's less crime, there's less, there's more safety. When there's more safety, there's more happiness. I mean, to me, that's, but because of the ego of these people, like a lot of people lost, like the Hollywood celebrities, like they look stupid. Like I hope all the celebrities that said they would leave the countries, I hope they fucking leave. Just go, dude. Like go. Like just do it. Like I just, they were so they brought out all these celebrities, thinking that people needed the celebrity gods to tell them what to do, because they obviously couldn't make up our own mind. And then we made up our own minds. Then they were confused because we didn't listen to the gods. So I think they don't know what to do. And it's fucking hilarious. It's hilarious, and it's also scary. It's hilarious because I just see them nitpicking at things. I'm like, can we get on with making our country great again? Can we get on with trying to heal a lot of this racism? And I feel like, they're just perpetuating it. They're perpetuating the race baiting, hating shit. And they're perpetuating the nitpicking and the gossipy, petty shit. It's like high school. And now they're so I don't know. They're going back to the McCarthy era too. I mean, they're calling other people Russians, and I was saying that they work for the Russians, and I don't even know what's so bad about the Russians. I don't even get it. They're just trying to just blame Russia for everything, oh, there's no more toothpaste in this tube of toothpaste. It must be the Russians. The Russians must have come and stolen my toothpaste. It's fucking bullshit. So I'm so glad, in closing, I just want to say I'm so glad to see that fake news, people are really starting to figure out what fake news is. And the more that they try and expose and try and shut down and censor, the more they, expose themselves, and the more dumb they're going to look. And I'm glad, because they're fucking liars, and I deserve it. I mean, they deserve it. They deserve it, because they're fucking liars. So And it makes me really, really happy. I just hope that more people start to wake up, because I think the more people that will start to believe and have faith in the mainstream outlets, the more people are going to get screwed. And I think the sooner you wake up to what the real fake news is, then the more, I don't want to say happier, but I would just say the more you have an understanding of how the real world works, and maybe you won't find a lot of problems that we have in the society um, I can't think of the word. I'm at a loss for words. Some of the problems in society so like beyond your control, maybe. Um, and once you find that out, then life gets a little easier. Except for the people who call you crazy for having that point of view. But once you once you kind of understand and have a better working, a better knowledge of how the world works, things can get better. So, all right, that's it. Mwah. Bye.